you ever looked at the list of the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22-23, the one where it says, you'll have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, and said, I ain't got none of that? Because that's what I did. I can remember looking at that list going, that is not me. On a good day, I might be kind, because that's just my nature. I'm not going to be mean to you. But the rest of them, I looked at it and said, I don't have this. And this is the fruit, the stuff that grows out of the life that has a spirit, the Spirit of Christ in us. If that's the fruit that grows, then I started to worry that maybe I'm not a Christian because I don't have those. Am I supposed to have all 9? Should I just have 1? I'm like, okay, I made it. That's great. I got 1. Is there a limit to where, the fruit you have is enough? I was actually freaked out when I looked at it because I felt like I was really lacking in all of these fruit. I saw in my life, in my marriage especially, that it was the opposite. Most of them, I had the opposite of those. And so I started to panic, and in my panic I decided I'm going to study what those fruit are, what God says those are, so I can understand them better, and then understand how I'm supposed to get them. Because, they come from the Holy Spirit. They're the fruit of the Spirit, not of the flesh. So it isn't anything that I have to do or work at harder, which is what I thought, but it's what the fruit of the Spirit that comes from having the Holy Spirit in you is. As I looked at love, this was the biggest one because love is really all of the other fruit combined. If you look at the most read verse at most weddings, 1 Corinthians 13, that wonderful verse on what love is, you will find in there all of the fruit of the Spirit except self-control. So love encapsulates all of them. It's the most important fruit. And love is something we oftentimes misunderstand. For example, if someone's reading that verse at your wedding, you're thinking, oh, this is so great. He's going to do all these things. He's going to be patient and kind. He's going to take care of me. Oh, yes, I love love. Well, what most of us do is we love getting love. But that verse isn't about what you're supposed to get. That's about what you're to give. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It doesn't keep a record of wrong. All of these things that God tells us love is has to do not with the romantic love that we feel when we first start dating and everything's great, but with difficult people. Because who else do you have to keep a record of wrongs with except someone that's wronged you? And who else do you have to be patient with except someone who's getting on your nerves? So love is really hard to understand and very important in our lives because it isn't something that you feel. It's very easy to think that love is about a feeling, but it's not because you don't feel those things for those difficult people in those situations. If I was to ask you what's the opposite of love, you'd probably say, like everybody I've ever asked, the opposite is hate. And I can see how that might be the guess, but that's not the opposite of love. The opposite of love is selfishness. Because if it's hate, then you can easily say, well, I don't hate him at least, it's not that bad. And that you can get away with not loving. But if you say, I'm not being selfish, then you've got it. So if there's any point in our lives where we're being selfish, where we're thinking about ourselves first, the way he should treat us, what she should have said, how things should have gone in our lives, self-protection, self-promotion, self-indulgence, and these things that include the idea of self as your main focus, your main motivator, that's the time when you're not loving. Now God, as a God of love, wants us to learn to love. And when we love, when we truly love through the power of the Holy Spirit and not our flesh that's motivated by self, we have then all the love we could ever dream of. So if your life is lacking love, then understand it isn't something that you have to generate by your flesh or that your mate has to give you by what he does for you, but that the Holy Spirit will give you today. When you just give yourself up, you just give up and you say, I'm done with myself and I just want more of you. Do that and you'll find love today.